Hi everyone, my name is Daniel and I will be presenting how we transformed our leave request tool from a custom-made solution into Citrix Workspace together with my colleague Nikhil. We made this as a custom interface and we realized that we could transform this into a Citrix Workspace solution. The agenda for our presentation will be a short introduction to ourselves, then a little bit about the Citrix tools that we work with in Phases. Then we'll be talking about the custom frontend that we built for the leave management tool. And then we'll show how we transform this into the Microapp version in Citrix Workspace. If you have any questions afterwards, we'll be available on Slack, so don't hesitate to jump in and ask us any question you might have. So a quick introduction to Phases. We are a company located in Denmark and in India. We mainly work with digital efficiency, so we help clients transform their processes into digital processes. So we work a lot with integrations, process optimization, building tools or solutions that help our customers work smarter and better. We are about 70 people in Phases at the moment, and we were founded in 2011. Quick intro to me and Nikhil. I have been working 15 years in the digital world, providing different types of solutions to clients all over the world. I have a background in .NET development, but I also have been working a lot with the more soft aspects of getting people to actually use tools, different solutions, and digital solutions in general. I'm very passionate about process optimization and working smarter, and that's why tools like Podio, ShareFile, Right Signature fits very well into the toolbox I bring to the customers. I was part of the first Converge conference and have been working with Citrix Workspace since then. That was a little bit about me, and then I'll let you, Nikhil, present yourself.
Sure. Thanks, Daniel. So, hi everyone. This is Nikhil, and I am the head of engineering at Phases. I have 9 years of experience in building custom API-based solutions and also some web applications. And I'm very passionate about solving complex customer problems and converting them into smart solutions. And in terms of Workspace, me and Daniel attended the last year's event, and it was a huge success. We got opportunity to learn a lot of new implementation that's made by Citrix. And yeah, we are very passionate about working on the Workspace platform. So that's from my side for now, and you'll be seeing a lot of cool things at the end. So over to Daniel.
Thanks, Nikhil.
Yeah.
So just a little bit about the work we do. We do consulting, we do workflow implementation, we do development and design. We also do a lot of integrations between different tools such as Podio and, for example, a finance tool. And then we also do hosting and infrastructure. So we do the complete solution for our clients. We have delivered more than 1,000 solutions to clients all over the world. We have a very broad range of clients, ranging from MasterCard to Stanford University and Okta. So very different types of customers with different needs, but they all have a need for process optimization. The Citrix tools that we work with is Podio, Right Signature, ShareFile, and we have now seen the new Citrix Workspace, and we see a huge opportunity in starting to sell that to clients, helping our clients to get one interface that makes it a lot easier for our clients to collaborate, work, so they don't need to jump between systems. making their process much easier than it is when they have to use many different systems, logging in, logging out, and learning all the different systems, different types of interfaces. We are one of the first official Podio partners, and we've been using Podio internal interfaces for pretty much everything that we do. We've also built some products on top of Podio. And in terms of write signature and share file, we've done a lot of different types of integrations with them, implementing them into our customers' different types of workflows. We're right now working with a couple of clients to implement Citrix Workspace into their main work flow, and it's going to be a great experience for us to see that come into life. Quick quote from our CTO, Mohammed Ansar: "I feel that we have a solid set of tools available from Citrix so that we can deliver the best solutions for our clients." That's also what I believe, and that's why it's so nice to have these kind of tools with us out to the clients, where we can actually, if you look at a tool like Podio, we can actually demo what the client need in the meetings, and that's a really strong selling point. In terms of the system that we're going to talk about today is a need we had for managing the leaves that people need to take in phases. It can be just vacation, it can be sick leave, it can be different reasons, but we needed a place for the employees to easily submit when they had a need for a leave. So we built a custom solution, a custom web front end, which connect with the Podio API to send the leaves into Podio so the HR department can manage it from there. We've updated it throughout the years, and now we've just seen that Citrix Workspace could actually replace this custom solution, removing the need for having to maintain this custom solution, and also making it easier for us to adapt other workflows into Citrix Workspace, so people only need to access one place. This is how the custom front end looks like. We show an overview of the leaves that people have been taking. We give them the opportunity to send in a new request, and they can also comment on the leaves that they've sent in if they need any information from the HR people, or the HR people can also send the other way. We'll have a little bit of a look at that. When you click on the apply, you can apply for the leave request that you have. You can fill in the details of it, if you have any comments, or if you can also select the reason for taking the leave, and then you can send it in. When you send it in, you have the opportunity to talk with your HR person. They can send a comment back, and you can respond on it directly from here. In here, we can see the leave request that we've submitted. It's automatically added to the Podio app, where the HR person gets a task based on a Podio workflow, so that they can go in and either reject or accept this leave request. When the status is changed by the HR, it will also be shown that it's accepted in the front end, so that the person will get notified about that their request has been approved. The HR person can add a comment, as we talked about earlier, and the user or the employee can also respond back to it directly from here. They don't need to switch to Podio or something else to do that. So this was how our own custom front end was working. Now I'll hand the word over to Nikhil, who will present how we have transformed this into a Microapp version inside Citrix Workspace.
So thanks, Daniel. And yes, so guys, we are going to get into the interesting part. And before I'm explaining like how we build, I'm going to split that into two parts. One is like the user journey, the other one is the backend workflow. So you might need to know all these kind of things to build a microapp. So I will present all the aspects of the implementation. So you'll get an understanding of how it works and why we did it, and all those things can be gathered from these details. Okay. So let's get into the first screen that is in Workspace. So you're going to see the first screen that we usually opens when you go to the Workspace. You will be seeing this page initially, right? Yeah. So here we can see different things. You are seeing an image. Basically, that's a placeholder. If there is no content, there will be an image like this. And in this case, we don't have any content in the activity feed. So the activity feed is a place where the user or the employee is going to see all the notifications. Like if the leave is approved, if the leave is like something is changed, for example, a comment is added, and all these things can be viewed over here in the activity feed. And so I'll get into this in much detail, but I'll just walk you through the user journey first, and then I'll go to the detailed part. Okay. So the next thing is the actions. So you're seeing something in the right side called request leave. That's an action. So user click on the action, then it opens up a pop-up like this, and the user can fill in. For example, an employee at Faces need to attend, send a leave request. Okay. In that case, he'll be entering all the leave details like title, the email, the description, and the date, and also the type. He will specify all these details and he will submit it. Yes. Now the leaf has been submitted. It's into Podio. So that's happened via API using the Microapp setup. So I'll explain you that in the Microapp page builder setup. So you'll get much understanding on that, right? So here the leave is just came to Podio, and you can see there is an automated task which is assigned to the HR. It is basically a Podio flow. That's nothing to do with the workspace, but an item has been created using the API, and a task has been assigned to the HR. So now the HR knows, okay, there is a new leave request in the system. So in the next screen, yes, you can see that the HR just the leave data, and then he think, okay, it's fine to approve the leave. Then he click on accept, and now what happens? Yeah. Yes. See, the magic happened. Like the HR made a change inside Podio, and a notification has been pushed into Workspace, and this we configured using the workflow. So basically, now the employee got a notification which says, okay, your leave has been approved. So that's a good thing, right? Because it's almost instant. Like if something goes into Podio and a category is changed, and the data will come back into the interface. And if you click on, if the employee click on that notification, he can see the much more details about the leave. See, so the employee clicks on the leave notification, and here is a leave title and all the details, the micro details. And we also have like the leave status, like how much casual leave is spending, and how much sick leave is spending. All these things are gathered from Podio, and it will be shown here. Okay, so to give you a little more idea, these pending status are made using Podio calculation. If you know Podio, it's a easy implementation. So without writing a lot of like code, we just made it as a field inside Podio. So it will reduce as per the leave accepted status and denied status. Okay. So now till now, what happened is like the employee came in, he filled the form and he submitted. It went to Podio, and the HR just verified all the details and he approved. Maybe HR might be talked with the manager, and then it is approved. And it came to Workspace as notifications. Now you have the notification details here. Yes. Okay. So the next step is adding a comment. Let's consider, okay, if the leave is denied, okay, for some reason. In that case, the HR need to notify the employee, okay, says, okay, this is the reason why we rejected your leave. And HR wrote a comment, and it will be instantly available in the workspace. You can see that now. Yeah. See, another notification has been pushed, which says, okay, there is a new comment added to your leave request, and the employee can click on it. Now the employee can see like the leave status with minimal details, also with the comment from the HR, which means the comment added in Podio came here as a notification, right? So here you have the comment from the HR, and also the employee can respond. Okay, in case if HR asks some question, okay, why you are leave for this much days or something that's relevant in that case. So employee can respond. He can enter details into the text box. Now that response is added back to Podio. See, So basically, it's kind of a round communication which happens between HR and the employee. So the employee comes in, he started filling the form, he submitted the leave, it came to Podio, HR interacted, and he sent back some response, maybe as a status like accepted or denied, and he can also add some comments. So they can interact each other using the system. Okay, so now that's the user flow, and I'll give you a little more details about why we did this. So that's important part. Important part, right? Okay. So we did this setup because our old system is written completely using web language, and at least it took a while for us to develop that system. And it is like for the long run, it might be a bit difficult to manage if some technology changes happen, or if something happens in the browser world. So in that case, Workspace is like very manageable. Like it doesn't require a lot, coding effort. I can say that it doesn't require like maybe a couple of days we can, or one day, or like years we can make an app like this. So that's a pretty important thing, because the application needs to be scalable in the future. So that's why we opted Workspace to change the implementation. Okay, so now the user journey part is completed. Yes.
Thanks, Nikhil. So basically, we transformed the whole interface that we built, all the workflows that we've built into the web front end. We transformed that into Citrix Workspace without writing any code. It was configured by you in the Citrix Workspace, and you just needed to do a bit of technical things to make it happen.
Yes.
I'm thinking most people out there sitting and looking at this presentation are technical. So I think let's jump in to see how you built this inside Citrix Workspace, and if you can
Yes.
explain a little bit about the technical part of the micro app and how that all is working.
Yes, sure, Daniel. That's a good thing, because as you said, like this presentation might be seen by a lot of developers. So you may want to know like how this is made using the setup, and it is not a complex logic or something. It's basically workflow. So I'll show you like each and every part in a minimal way, because if I can talk about this, I can talk the entire day. So I'll make it short for you guys. So we'll be going through the interface.
So I'll just hand it over the screen to you, Nikhil. So you just, yeah, great.
Sure. Yeah. Yes. Okay, guys. So before I'm getting into the workspace part, I need to give you some details on the workspace. So basically, as I said initially, me and Daniel attended the Converge program, and we seen a lot of people like making applications at that time as a hackathon. And we started converting small our internal tools into Workspace to experiment like how it works, and what should be the performance, and what should be happening for the next year. Okay, so from last year to this date, I can see a lot of changes that's happened in the system, like a lot of new components, new implementations that's made into system. So I'll explain how it's made in a detailed way for certain area, because like there is something called webhook relations, and these kind of things are added recently. So I think so. It's not there when it's initially made. So we used all the new methods that's implemented by Citrix in this application. So I'll demonstrate how it works. So the first part is basically the configuration. Configuration means for making all automation, you need to configure like an endpoint URL, an authentication, and like a database. A data structure. All these things need to be specified in a place, and that's kind of automation flow that we need to make initially. Then there is a user flow where the pages appears, notification appears, all the conditions, like when a notification needs to be shown in the user interface, that can be defined in the system. Okay, so this is the initial page which you are going to see when you make a new micro app in Citrix Workspace. So it has the configuration. So I'm going to configuration first. So it has a configuration page where you can define the integration name, the integration URL, where the API endpoint is. So right now we are using an HTTP endpoint, which means it requires a base URL and it needs an authentication, right? and we are using the normal basic authentication in this case. So you might be thinking like, why you are not seeing the Podio API URLs over here? Okay, so that's a good thing, because in Citrix Workspace, it can accept data that has certain format. If the data is like multi-hierarchical, or if it has multiple steps, then it's difficult to parse. So in that case, at Faces, what we are doing is we have our own like internal system that cleans up the data. If you send some hierarchical data into the system will clean it up, and it will provide the actual cleaned output, which means the key value pair, the key might be the field name, the value might be the field value. Okay, so that's how it works. So that's why we are using a middle layer, because you might get confused, because as you see in like we are using a basic authentication, because Podio doesn't have a basic authentication. Okay, so we are depending on a middle layer that is converting all the unclean data into clean data. It is not doing much. There is very less coding. You can also do the data cleaning using different systems. There are a lot of third-party providers. If needed, you can go with them, or else you can have your own like cleaning system. Okay, the data cleaning system. Yes, so that's how configuration is made. So now the system is connected and ready to send and send and receive API and request and responses. Okay, so I'll take you to the data loading part. Data loading is like basically consider we made a leave application system. So leave application basically consists of a leave and also the employees, right? There should be two entities, one is leave and one is employees. Leave should be containing all the leave data. The employees should be containing the employee data like email, their name, and maybe their area of work, and all these kind of things are consist in employees. Okay, so we need these two data sets to perform the actions. So now we added two data points which has certain IDs, which I given is the leave and employee app IDs in Podio. So I'm not getting into that much detail, but it's just consider it is two endpoints where you can fetch data. So now you have leave and employees, and the next thing I'll go to the relationships, because I'll go to tables and webhooks just after this, so you can get an understanding. So here you are seeing the relationship. As I said, we have employees, we have leaves. So you might be thinking how it's connected, how it's related, because if it is a ordinary database, you might need to keep the relationship, right? So in that case, this tool, the Microapp provides like a what to say, very neat setup that enables connecting two systems. For example, you can connect an employee table with the leave table, so which means you can show data combined in the interface. So that's why we are using relationships. And we have the webhooks. Webhooks are basically the term itself means like this system is capable of receiving requests from external third-party entities. For example, here you can see two webhooks. One is the leave updates, one is the latest comment. Okay, so which means if the HR changes the status in Podio, it's need to be reflected here, right? So we can either do the data loading and it will auto load every minute, but that's not a convenient way. So in that case, what it does is like we created webhooks to receive data instantaneously. For example, like you added a comment inside Podio, you change the status, it will be immediately available in the data structure over here. Okay, that's why we are using webhook listeners. You can make use of webhook listeners entirely, and you can maybe avoid use of data loading. It depends on the development flow, right? So if you want to happen things that requires a trigger, for example, if something happens in Podio that comes here, and then it will be processed immediately. Okay, so then you can use webhooks. It's a good thing. So you must try this because it's working pretty good. And we have the tables. Tables are basically the data structure and the content. You can see if you click on here. This doesn't require any input action. This is just an output action. So it will display all the details which is there in the system. So you can retain the data up to 30 days. That's what the configuration says, that you can configure inside the data loading and webhook listeners. So you can retain like how long this data needs to be here. If it needs to be destroyed in a day or something, you can do that. So that's also possible. So now we have all the data structure, and the final one is the service action. service action which enables sending a request out of the system. Okay, so you open the employee opened the window and he added all the details. He clicked on submit or request leave. Then the system will look for a service action. Okay, just take all the data and send to this endpoint. So this is basically an like a outflow from the Citrix Workspace. So you can add comments inside the workspace, and then it will automatically fetch over here and it will send to the desired destination. So that's how it works simply. So I'll give you one more insight. So we have data loading, we have the webhook listeners, tables, relations, and service actions. In the data loading, I specify two endpoints. One is leaves and one is employees. That's relevant for our setup for leave system. And we have the webhook listeners. That's for the leave updates. If something happens in Podio, like status is changed or a comment is added, then it will automatically trigger this action, and I mean this will be listening all time. Like if something is coming through the system, it will accept and it will send to the database. And you have the tables. It's just an output of what is stored inside the system. And you have relations. Relations means, as I said, that's a primary key foreign key relationship kind of table which holds data, and you can connect each other, which will be helpful to display data. I mean, if you want to show data from multiple entities, that's also possible. And you have the service actions which sends out the data. For example, if you added a comment or a leave request, it will be sent over to the system. Okay, that's how the backend flow works. Now let's do one thing. Let me reload, and yeah. Yes, now we have the presentation layer. That's what we can call, or like a notification and page configurations. So now consider now we made all the database, all the flows, all the actions, and now it needs to be connected with a notification or a page, right? Then only the user can see this, because the user logic is happens here. Okay, so you have notifications. Notification means if something happens, if some data is updated, if some data is created, if something is deleted. So in these scenarios, you can make a notification. Okay, now we have data in a database. Consider there is a new data came into the database, and what happens if you have written a notification which is for new data, it will be always listening. Okay, and if that new data is received, the data will be processed and it will be sent as a notification to the user. So we have created four kind of notifications. One is for comment created, one is for leave request, one is status change, one is for new comment. So that's what you've seen in the user flow part. So these are the four notifications that the user can see. Okay, and once I explain notifications and pages, I'll open one of the notification. I'll explain like how it works. Okay. So now we have the pages. Pages means when you do something. I'll show you. So if I go to the workspace interface and if I click on this leave request, please hold. Yeah. Okay. So you can see there is a form with some fields and also a button. So basically this is a page. Okay. And if you're clicking on a notification, the notification will appear with details. So this is basically a page. So this is notifications, what you're seeing here, and the actions. So if something opens in a pop-up, that's a page. That in a simple way we can say like that. Yeah. Yes, I'll go back, and that's pages actually. So I'll show you one page which is the request leave part, the one which you seen here. If I click on this, I've seen the page. So here is the same page which has all the fields. You can drag and drop multiple type of fields. Then you can configure the form. Once the form is configured, you can configure the button. So basically all the logic, all the outgoing actions can be written on a button. So you can see there is an action, and it says to run a service action, and it runs a service action. So this is what I said in the other like backend logic. We have written actions that sends out data. Okay, so now there is data that can be sent using the action, and you can edit the parameters, and you can map the fields, map all the form fields with your data set, which means these two entities are connected tightly. So if something happens here, it will go through the database, and it will be properly sent to the concerned location. Yes, so that's a simple example of a page. So we did this page to send request to Podio. It says leave request. So user click on this button and all the process should happen, and it will go to the service action. And you can see here it is. You can request a leave. If you opens this, you can see I have mapped all the fields. I'm not going into much detail, but I have mapped all the fields. I asked to send a request as post request with the content, right? So it is already mapped. So what happens if something user does, he clicks on the button, it will flow through the system, it will go to Podio. Yes, and that's basically pages. And for you, I will open and show one of the notifications, so you'll be getting understanding on that. So we have 4 kind of notification. Let's see what happens when a new comment is added. Yes. So when you're creating a notification, you can specify a trigger, like when a record is created, when a record is changed, and all these things can be specified. Maybe I'll show you that in the next screen. So here you can see there is a notification name. You can specify the card icon, the title, the body content, and if you want to make some interactions, you can do that. If you want to make a button inside the notification, you can do that. That's also possible. And I said, okay, when someone clicks on the notification, I need to open this page. So that's what I specified here. So the notifications came in and the user click on it, then this page should be visible. That's what you're seeing in the pop-up. And in the settings, you can add the trigger conditions, which means, let's see, it's we have 70 employees, and if we are giving access to all the 70 employees, in that case, if something happens to a person, he only want to see that, right? Because if someone else sees what is happening for other users, leave request, and that's a bit bad thing, right? So in that case, you can specify like only the logged in user can see his particular notifications if the email matches, right? So there is an email in the data column, and the user is logged in using a email, and if that matches, we can show the data. So that's how it added. And I also added some conditions. You can add multiple conditions and or conditions. If comment changes, if some status changes, then only you want to show the data, then you can specify that. That's. And you have some expiration settings. It means if the record is being deleted, you can remove the notification automatically, or you can specify an interval. Okay, show this notification only for this date. For example, if as the system, just an example, if the system is on maintenance on this date, so you can destroy the notification after the date. So that's a basic usage. So that's a notification and pages, and there is properties and localization. Those are normal configuration. There is just names and icons you can set up. So that's only things. So now what you have seen is 2 parts. The just a second, let me go back. Just give me a second. Please hold. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Now, so you have seen 2 parts. It's basically the backend configurations that where you can configure all the setup, and there is another layer which allows you to create notifications and pages. Okay, so that's how the configuration is made. Now I'll go to the user interface and show you a couple of notifications, and yeah. So I'll close this. So you can see as we specified in the user flow presentation, you can see there is a new comment, a notification, there is a leave request status change notification, there is a reception notification, and there is an action to create the leave request. So you can see all these in one place. Okay, so basically that's basically that's the basic configuration which we made. And yes, and the good thing is, like, when we built our old application, it took a lot of time, but for this configuration it was pretty quick, and like this can be shared with like a lot of our employees, and they can submit all the requests, and they can manage things from there. So that's we are also looking forward to see a lot of changes in the system, and also there are a lot of client base for the system. In terms like we can integrate multiple API based solutions into one place, and you can manage everything in a notification feed without having a lot of like user interactions. That's a good thing which I've shown here in the system, and it was pretty good to develop. I mean, to make an implementation in the system. Yes, and if you have any queries, please ask us on Slack. So we'll be responding. And thanks, guys. And then that was a good like good implementation which we made recently. Thanks.
Thanks, Nikhil. And as Nikhil said, we will be on Slack for any questions. You're welcome to reach out to us. So looking forward to your questions, and looking forward to the rest of the Converge conference. See you guys, and thanks for listening in.